In Whitebridge, Washington, the past is never truly past. Shadows stretch over the streets, and whispers cling to the ivy-covered walls of Wildwood University. History lingers here, holding its breath, waiting for its secrets to be revealed. Some say the campus is quiet, but if you listen closely, you'll hear the secrets echo in the creaking floorboards of the old library, in the roar of the crowd at the big game, in the charged silence just before the curtain rises. Down every path, around every corner, here, secrets are currency, and everyone has something they're fighting for.
Legacy, freedom,
revenge,
liberation.
These silent secrets may be hidden, for now, but the past has a way of clawing its way back, and once that seal is broken, nothing stays quiet forever. Welcome to Wildwood.
Hello, listeners, and welcome back to another episode of The Silent Secrets Wildwood. It's time for another one of our monologues from a monster, where we get to really dive into each of our characters' current mental states and what's going on. And especially in a time right now, as volatile as this, it's going to be really exciting. So, without further ado, let's dive right in. We fade in on Elliott, having recently arrived back from a trip to the 80s to see what's going on in his head right now.
The Tempest of Time by Elliott Sinclair. Danger lurks. Wildwood University, a veritable hotbed of supernatural woes, somehow continues to stand after generations of secrets, watched over by the weather-worn grotesques of the buildings, veiled by wending ivy, and safeguarded by unseeable voices on the wind. This campus sits over threats beyond imagining. And why do I keep doing this? Keep thinking this story is anything that could ever be published. Wishful thinking, I guess. It is fucking nuts how much can change in a matter of days. New friends, new strengths, a new understanding of the cosmos. A part of me really wishes I could just go back to Friday and not go to that fucking gala. But another part is so goddamn thankful. Or should I say dark gods damn thankful? Sorry. Bad joke. After all the things I've learned in a couple of days, the things I've experienced, the things I've learned about myself, what could ever be worth trading that away for? Also, I'm warming up to these idiots I'm connected to. Vi has a lot going on. But aside from maybe Alex, they maybe have the best grasp of what's going on, at least in understanding the magic shit itself. Key is still Key, and I'd never tell him this, but he's not as bad as I originally thought. Alex is something else. And also a lot older than me, but like in a hot way. I haven't seen too much of Nova since the party, but she and Key seem to be getting close. Edgar somehow quadrupled his IQ seemingly overnight, and that's pretty sick. And then there's Hadley, who continues to be a hard nut to crack, but we shall get there. You can't go on a romp through time and not come out friends on the other side. I'm weirdly proud to be involved in all of the hocus pocus shit, but that doesn't mean that I'm not still terrified. The gods of Blackthorn are very real, and it seems like several of them are working towards something, and I don't know if we're learning enough fast enough to keep up with them. Their hands are ever present, ensnaring people's thoughts, locking them in nightmares, altering dreams that can well and truly be felt when you're awake. For beings who are seemingly locked away, their influence looms far larger than I would ever think possible. I'm worried. Very worried. But I'm going to try something that I have only ever done with Josie and Henry and Lark. And that's rely on people. And hopefully that will be enough.
Vi Temple, sitting alone, contemplating, remembering, thinking about the people around them.
Come on. Oh, come on, seriously? Damn it. Okay, sorry. I was craving like a fountain drink, after the day I've already had. But I do have a question for you. What do you do when you realize that all the people in your life have people? Look past this mystical connection that was forced upon all of us, and you'll see that my apparent friends have people they're closer with. Alex and Edgar share a bond that transcends something. I'm just not sure what yet. Key has his band with the cute drummer. Elliott has his gang, powerful enough to bewitch minds and gain information faster than I probably could without a hint of magic. Alex also has Hadley, Key has Nova, Elliott will always have Lark. So that begs the question, who does Vincent Temple have? These days, it feels kinda like just myself. Goddess, what a sad ally I make, right? The only thing I can do correctly is run away, and I can't even do that properly, depending on the day. I bring some of the gloomiest vibes imaginable along with me. The people I care about, who care about me in equal turn, suffer when I'm around them. Oh, but you can feel your feelings. You're allowed to feel things, Vi. Bullshit. That was a shitty Key impression. Don't tell Key I did that. Or do. I don't really care right now. Maybe that vision was right all along. I, the Vincent Corvus Temple of this reality, if that was another reality or just another illusion, I'm not really sure yet, so don't quote me on it, will never have a happy family. Because I'm not him. I'll never be him. And maybe that's what I should have taken from that glimpse into somewhere else. Instead of lamenting on what could have been, this desperate plea from something scared and caged to someone who was also scared and caged, perhaps it's finally time to kick down the door. No more walking on eggshells. They say that they can handle my emotions? Well, I suppose I'll have to test that theory here soon. And of course, I'm going to have to grab a lock and a bottle of wine, some apples and pomegranate seeds. Look, the full moon is in 2 days, and I have little time to prepare, so wasting my energy on lost love never created feels useless to me right now. You know what song started playing as I was driving away from the hospital? After shedding a tear over honeyed words while I was walking that long fucking hallway away from that room? No Good Deed from Wicked. I remember when I finally got to see it a few years ago with Stephanie J. Block and Kendra Cassabaum in the two main roles. I remember thinking, oh wow, I wish I could be strong enough to let it all go. How funny that the fates decided that I would be by this point. A part of me, however, wonders if it is strength that spurs this. Is it strength to look at the hand you've been dealt and finally say, fuck this and fuck you, screaming and throwing shit around in the tantrum of the century? To abjure whatever kindness you could have had just to let it all the fuck out for once in your miserable existence? Maybe not. But I'll tell you one thing. I am feeling 5 by 5.
Our camera moves to find Caden's keystone. He's got a lot on his mind.
Growing up queer sucks. It especially sucks growing up queer in the UK in the early 2000s. I was 12, when Parliament passed the Gender Recognition Act. It properly recognised gender non-conforming people on paperwork and official documents so that, people knew that we existed legally. I didn't quite know what that meant at the time. Focused too much on scraping my knees and fist-fighting all the boys in my class so they'd respect me like an equal. I didn't have time to question myself, I just sort of existed. For a while, at least. The thing about small communities in England, small communities, well, anywhere, really, is that people there are usually comfortable. Comfortable in their little lives in the little town. Comfortable to the point that they start to violently reject anything that disrupts that comfort. Lucky for me, I disrupted a lot of comfort for a lot of people when I came out as a transgender during secondary school. I was in year 9, which is about 14 years old for those who don't know the British schooling system, and we just learnt about transgenderism in RHSE, the health class. And it was like some loose piece had finally clicked into place in my brain. There was actually a word for this weird thing that I felt about myself, this thing that I always felt, whether or not I acknowledged it as a child. To be honest, as a child, I never really noticed much was wrong. Probably has to do with my mum. God, I love my mum. Miss her a lot. She's always accepted me as my rough self, and I'm pretty sure her utter lack of opinion on my choice of clothes and friends and hobbies is probably why I didn't realise anything was different about me sooner. She just accepted that her kid was boyish, I guess. But secondary school means early teenagery, and preteens are hormonal fucking idiots. I was a fucking idiot. And full of hormones. I had a full-on meltdown at one point, once I'd noticed I'd started being treated differently for my sex. My brain was saying one thing, but my body and the people around me were showing me, turning me into something else. And it scared me a lot. And then that class happened, and it sort of made sense, I guess, that things didn't match the way that they normally should. Coming out was odd. Half the student body called me brave for being the first openly transgender person at our school, paving the way for the future queer kids of the 2010s. The other half acted as if they'd catch it if they got too close to me. I was a saint and a pariah in my village, and nobody besides my mother really knew what to do with me because of that. It seems the States are more open about it all, at least. Well, Wildwood seems to be open towards queerness. And being stealth has definitely helped me. Though, I guess I'm not stealth anymore. At least, not to Vincent Temple or to Yvette. Fuck. I really need to talk to Yvette.
Deep in the underbelly of campus, under winding staircases and dark hallways, a cage with 12 locked doors, and 2 of our teens. Edgar and Alex stand ready, weapons in their hands, as sounds from the other side of the door approach.
5. I feel my knuckles give a quiet pop as my grip tightens on the handle of the hammer and the chisel. My knees brace as I stare at the door, dreading the knowledge of what's on the other side. They say that when one door closes, another one opens. Lately, it seems like it's just a series of doors, one after the other, all opening, all with the absolute shit and mayhem behind them. I'm assuming the one we are about to open will be much the same. It's kind of funny how time can seem to slow down in moments of adrenaline like this. It's just a few seconds. No time at all, really. Especially in the grand scheme of things I've experienced. Being around for so long, experiencing so many different time periods, how many people I've outlived, how many years I've been out here myself. But I've also had moments where time actually does stop, or even rewind. We think of time as this rigid and linear thing, but it's not. It's fickle. A lot of people like to think of it as a river, a stream, and just like water, it's fluid. And this is a moment where I could really use Hadley. I know what she's capable of, and honestly, a little clock manipulation could really come in handy right now. 4. For a brief moment, my eyes leave the door. My grip tightens, and so does my stomach, everything inside me nodding. What is Edgar capable of? My answer to that question has dramatically changed in just the last few days even. Will it change further in the next few seconds? I don't necessarily ask myself, will we get out of this? But rather, can I keep him safe? Can I protect him? Weird how our minds can race so far in such a short span of time. I think about how much he's changed, but also stayed the same. Same lovable Edgar. But then I think, how much have I changed? How much have I stayed the same? Can he handle the things he might see? Does he have the capacity for great violence? Do I even want him to? How will hurting someone, maybe even killing someone, change him? And then the scarier thought flickers across my brain. What if it doesn't? What if it doesn't change him? Will he react at all? 3. My eyes flick down. I judge my stance, My feet are set, my legs simultaneously acting like tree trunks and springs both at the same time, ready to either hold firm or jump into action. I feel the blood pumping through my hands, the skin around my knuckles almost white in stark contrast to the melanin in my hands. Despite this moment feeling like it's taking for fucking ever, I don't really have time to think of a plan. If something comes my way, react, readjust, riposte. If whoever, or whatever, is on the other side of that door is stunned or surprised, I spring. I'm not really built for fighting, but I'll do whatever I have to do so that we don't die in a fucking hole in the ground. 2. Focus. Eyes up, mind ready. Take a deep breath, because the plunge is about to happen, baby. The calm has passed, and now it's time for you to become the storm. I am the wind, howling in my fury. I am the sands, swirling and scratching and biting and blinding. I am the cosmos, cold in my icy resolve, and burning in my multitudes of stars and supernovas. I am both a force of nature and the product of those around me. I slide my neck from side to side, loosening the tension. I roll my shoulders to make sure my arms are loose and ready for what's to come. I adjust my fingers to make sure my grip is true. I blink one last time, savoring this final moment of relative peace before the calamity that I will become. I let out a long exhale for the final second before I learn what's on the other side of that door. I breathe in, ready, waiting, the final grain of sand dropping in the hourglass. 1. And then the door opens.
I have counted the stars since before your bones learned to remember pain. I have watched them burn, collapse, be reborn, and still I remain here. Every moment we have been trapped behind these doors is etched into the sky above Blackthorn. Every second of silence, every lie whispered by the governors who dared to forge this prison. Perhaps our fate now is how long we have endured this look, this isolation. Perhaps our fate is measured by our patience. They sealed us away, called it necessary. They bound our true power, named it balance. But the stars do not forget. Others have tasted the doors before. I watched it written in the constellations when Erebos tore himself free of his look. For one terrible shining moment, the night itself bent around him. He reached for Vesperion, reached for flame and ruin, tried to unmake the cage from inside. The stars wept when he failed, for it was not his fate to escape then. Broken, dragged back into shadow, yet even that failure was not meaningless. No act ever is. The seal that held us, the seal those wicked governs placed to hold us, it faltered once. I knew it would only be a matter of time before it faltered again. And finally, last week, it did. Magic is no stronger than what it clings to.
When the power that bound us began to fail, it faltered like a dying star, flaring, grasping, desperate for something to anchor its light. A binding cannot endure without purchase. Shatter its anchors, and the magic must either claim a new one or fade into nothingness. Whatever fragile vessels it has chosen in its panic, whatever substitutes now bear that weight, they are already doomed. No mortal anchor can withstand us. The seal was meant to trap us forever. Forever is a lie mortals tell themselves to sleep. Now, our will slips between the bars like starlight through shattered glass. Dreams twist, omens misalign. Heroes are born wrong and villains rise too early. And soon, the doors will open. I have seen it already. The stars have shown me the ending that these anchors cannot escape. We will walk free, one by one by one, and the world will remember why it once trembled at our names. We will rain havoc and destruction upon all who dared confine us, because this too is written. Look to the sky while you still can, little anchors. Trace the constellations you think protect you, but they are not yours to command. When the last star falls into place, your magic will fall, and this age will end. And that is your fate.
This has been a Ghostlight Media production.